Hello everybody, welcome back to another Bloodline video. My name is Schnugs. Thanks for joining me today. The clan schedule seems to be a little off because I was expecting to have a new clan drop today, but I haven't seen any new info or anything, any patch notes, anything set. So, looks like we're still waiting, which is a blessing because it gives me more time to get some more shards so I don't have to spend any cash or diamonds. At server reset, we had the Royal Boss drop, and I've been doing some tweaking from the last event or last Eye of the Abyss. Working on my team, trying to get a better damage. Before, my max damage for the boss would be about 2.5, 2.6 billion damage per attempt. I did realize a few things last time that helped me get a better team. I do have a new addition to my team who's the male Galtung, who's going to be in my second team. So let's go ahead and hop into the video. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of why we're here today. So, new personal record, 6.7 billion damage. How did I go from 2.5 to 6.7? Well, three tips, three things that I started doing or changed that helped me get to those numbers. And I'm going to take you right into them, go over them shortly. We're wrapping up the video here so you can see the amount of damage done. Once that's completed, I'll take you right over and we'll start. And no, it has little to do with the obvious. There's no boost of vigor. There hasn't been a marriage competition for a few weeks, 2 weeks now. So I haven't had any new vigor pumped up to any of my tunes. Even my male Galtung, who's 13 star, I believe, doesn't have any vigor. He has about maybe 10 just from doing trait swaps and trying to get the proper traits on him. So it's not leveling, it's not more gold, it's not vigor. Here we're wrapping up. We're at 6.3. This is the second team, by the way, so I'm only essentially using two teams. My third team is just fillers. The folks that I have in my district, essentially, that I just throw into a team to get them out there. I've recently done a video for male ASN Spotlight, showcasing just his abilities, what he can do, how he's helpful, how much damage he can output, and how great of a utility he is. As you can see in the video here, he's able to help the entire group sustain, keep everybody alive. He'll drop his shield on, he'll rotate his shield on different allies and help keep him alive pretty much until the enrage. So I am gonna cut the video shortly. I'm not gonna show the last team. Like I said, they're just there to fill a spot. So let's get into the final damage. And here we are with 6.7 million damage. About 5.5 does come from my first team. 5.5 to 6 billion coming from the first team. I am currently building out my second team. Still waiting for a few things like the marriage event to get some more vigor on some of the characters, my main DPS for that comp. But here we have it. So, without further ado, I'm going to give you three things really quickly. I want to keep this video short. I'll give you three things that's going to help you progress in World Boss. Okay, Bloodlings, here we go. Tip number one. Super simple. I think most of us kind of forget about this one and just use the same team, same setup for every game mode that happens, even for PvP, PvE, World Boss, and so on. That's a mistake. In all content, every time a new event pops up, whether it's World Boss, Guardian Defense, Spire, whatever it is, it usually causes me to reset my champions and change a few things around. Change the teams, change the amount of, change the levels, depending on if they're not maxed. But it highly depends on what setup I need or what champions I need most for the content that I'm doing. So, resetting. Most games don't have it. Most games, once you have your characters done, they're done. Some games you even have to pay to remove gear or to switch gear, and thankfully we don't have that here in Bloodline. So do not forget to reset your champions as needed, depending on what you're doing. Again, always go off what character is better for what you need. Always make sure your team setup is based on the content that you're engaged in at the moment. So it does take a little bit of time, but it's well worth it. For tip number 2, we're getting into the skills of the champions. So for me, I would pump all my... If I had a character I liked that was on my main team, that meant I had to get all my skills up for my characters, get them up as high as possible, just so I could use them. But for this mode, for a world boss, there are certain skills that are not necessary. So, let's see. My female Lion Stone, she's going to connect with the teammate with the lowest fortitude health and increase their fortitude by her percentage and hers. Unnecessary. Everyone's going to be healed until the enrage happens. I don't need any extra support from her. So I'm going to pump everything into her ultimate so I can have more damage. And as far as her taking less range damage, again, this is one target. The boss hits everyone, so there's no need to switch it out or worry about ranged. So for a case like this, I've brought these back down to 0 so I can use them elsewhere. Same here for my female Davala. I don't need any points in her passive. If she survives death, that's perfect. She takes a hit. She's able to hit a few more times before she goes down. No need to invest any points in this whatsoever for this mode. When I do leave, when this world boss is over and I get back into it and I'm doing VOC or, different content that I'm focusing on, I will switch it back. Let's see. And this is where most of my points went. So outside of VOC, outside of world boss, my female Trevelyan rarely has any points into her passive skill that does max damage on the 3rd hit. I would keep that at maybe 10 to 12 max. And when there's no world boss up, she is not on my main team. She's not anywhere. She's not in my arena team anymore, my VOC. She's on like a second team. But she doesn't get that main slot anymore, so I don't need as much on her. When Eye of the Abyss does pop up, she becomes top tier. She's one of my most useful champions for this mode, so I make sure that that skill at least is as high as it can go. And for me, that's level 15. It's capped because I have her at 15 stars. So that's tip number 2, making sure you're not wasting any resources and not unnecessary skills for the content you're doing. And even if you just quickly change it out, take you maybe 5 minutes total to undo it and then reapply it once you're done. But every day for your boss attempts, you can switch it out to make sure you have the most useful skills leveled up. That's going to help you do more damage in the boss fight. Okay. And very last, but probably the most important tip for better damage. And that's going to be using the target dummy. Snugs, there's no target dummy. What are you talking about? Well, I realized last Eye of the Abyss that you can just reset the boss at any point before the fight is actually over. If you want to try again, so you have unlimited attempts. So I need a tank for this one. That's the requirement for the team. So I want to test out my female Trevelyan, see how she's doing, how the gear's working out, and the different traits I have on her. So this is where I come. Whenever I have the world boss up, the Eye of the Abyss, this is perfect. This is my target dummy. I come in with the required champion. For this, I will keep this required champion at max level. I'll usually reset them down to 0. But since my female Lion Stone is going to buff me anyway, I'll just test out the damage with the Lion Stone involved. It'll take about 600 gems for me to do this attempt. I have done 6 out of the 8 attempts available to me, and total of 50 million damage, 50 billion damage. And here you can actually test out how your champions perform, what buffs make them better, what buffs help them, what buffs increase the damage, or you can test out different champions to see if they even have an effect on your team and your team's damage. You can use this to test out survivability as well. Like for my male Galtung, he can actually 100% solo the boss up to the point of the enragement with his passive shield and his ultimate where he gets health back from his damage. He can sustain himself the entire fight without any support whatsoever. And this is what my female Trevelyan is capable of. So I can stop here. Let's change it up. Let's see what the female Loom will add to this party. Alright everyone, there you have it. Those are my 3 tips on better damage for World Boss. Thank you for joining me on this video. My name is Schnugs. If you have found this video helpful, please leave a like, leave a comment, share with your guildmates. Thanks again for watching. I've been Schnugs. I'll see you in the next Spotlight video for the female Trevelyan.